Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're cracking open a really fascinating chapter all about the geographical diversity of India, and we're going to discover exactly why it's known across the globe as a mini continent. We'll be breaking down how a single nation can contain such wildly different landscapes, and, more importantly, how those landscapes shape the very fabric of human life. So let's just dive right in.
Now, to really wrap our heads around the massive scale we're talking about, we actually need to zoom way, way out, like into space. Back in 1984, Rakesh Sharma, the first Indian astronaut to travel into space, was asked by then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi what India looked like from up there. His reply was a famous quote from an early 20th century poem, Sare Jahan Se Acha, which translates to better than the whole world. It's a beautiful thought, and it brilliantly frames India's breathtaking scale and beauty when viewed from above.
Here's our quick flight itinerary for today's Explainer. We'll start with a view from space, check out the Great Himalayan Wall, sweep through the plains and deserts, explore the peninsular plateau, hit the coasts, islands, and oceans, and finally, look at how all of this geography actually shapes culture. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the view from space, looking at India from above. As the 7th largest country in the world, India is practically a giant geographic puzzle made up of 6 major physical features. Up north, you've got the towering Himalayas, giving way to the flat, super fertile northern plains. If you move west, you hit the hot, sandy Indian desert. Down south lies the uneven, rocky peninsular plateau, with coastal plains and isolated islands wrapping all the way around the edges. This is basically your mental map for the rest of our journey. Moving right along to Section 2, the Great Himalayan Wall, acting as the northern barrier. When you look at it from above, the sheer massive scale of the Himalayas is just staggering. I mean, the word Himalaya literally translates to abode of snow, and this absolute beast of a mountain range stretches for roughly 2,500 kilometers. It acts as an incredible natural defender for the subcontinent, but it's also a crucial life giver. As all that snow melts, it feeds major river systems like the Ganga, Indus, and Brahmaputra. Those rivers sustain hundreds of millions of people, which has completely earned the region its nickname, the Water Tower of Asia. Now, you might picture the Himalayas as just one giant, flat wall of rock, but actually, they're divided into 3 distinct parallel ranges. Let's walk down them step by step. Step 1 is the Himadri, or the Greater Himalayas. This is the highest, most rugged part, completely covered in snow year-round, home to towering peaks like Kanchenjunga. Stepping down to Step 2, we hit the Himachal, the lower Himalayas. Here, the climate is much more moderate, which allows for rich biodiversity and a lot of human habitation. Finally, Step 3 brings us to the Shivalik Hills. That's the outermost and lowest range, consisting of rolling foothills and dense forests that act as the perfect transition zone as we leave the mountains entirely. Okay, Section 3, plains and deserts. We're looking at some seriously contrasting landscapes here. As we move south and west away from those freezing snowy peaks, we slam into 2 drastically different environments. On one hand, you have the northern plains. Nourished by those mighty rivers we just talked about, these plains are packed with highly fertile alluvial soil, making them a vital agricultural lifeline for a massive population. But move a bit further west and the environment flips entirely. The Thar Desert is a vast stretch of golden dunes, rugged terrain, and really harsh, arid conditions. It acts as a formidable natural barrier simply because of its extreme climate. It's a true land of extremes. Next up, Section 4, the Peninsular Plateau, which is actually India's oldest landform. Just picture plunging over these dramatic rocky drops. Jog Falls in Karnataka is a perfect showcase of the Peninsular Plateau's totally uneven terrain. This plateau is, as I mentioned, the oldest landform in India. It's a massive, triangular landmass extending southwards, and its rugged edges create breathtaking natural wonders exactly like this waterfall. And fun fact, those rapid drops generate massive amounts of hydroelectricity. But the absolutely crucial point here is the immense economic value hiding beneath all that old, uneven rock. So the plateau is divided into the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau, bordered by the Narmada River. Because it's composed of ancient, hard rocks, the deep layers of this region are a literal treasure trove of valuable minerals. We're talking coal, iron ore, and manganese. And up at the surface, there's a huge agricultural bonus. The Deccan region features this unique black soil that just happens to be absolutely perfect for growing cotton. All right, hitting the edges now with Section 5, Coasts, Islands, and Oceans.
As we wrap right around the southern peninsula, we find the coastal plains. They're a bit narrow in the west along the Arabian Sea and noticeably wider in the east along the Bay of Bengal. These coastal stretches are vital economic engines, driving port trade, fishing, and agriculture. And to complete our giant geographic puzzle, we have to look out into the oceans. India's territory includes island groups of both coral and volcanic origin. These isolated spots are absolutely crucial. They preserve pristine biodiversity, provide critical defense outposts, and of course, draw in a ton of tourism.
Finally, we arrive at Section 6, Geography Shapes Culture. Let's look at how nature impacts traditions. So you might be wondering, why does all this dirt, rock, and water actually matter to us? Well, it's because geography is really the true author of India's incredible cultural diversity. Think about it. The immense mountain barriers in the north physically protected regions like Ladakh and Sikkim, allowing their completely unique traditions to flourish untouched. The highly fertile plains, they birthed massive, incredibly rich ancient civilizations. Out west, the harsh Thar Desert necessitated specific, brightly colored clothing just to reflect the heat, which in turn inspired unique Rajasthani music and dance. Across the whole country, different climates dictate regional diets, local festivals, and even housing styles. Rivers act as sacred centers for religious rituals, while the isolation of the Northeast Hills and oceanic islands has preserved ancient tribal traditions to this very day. To close out this explainer, I want to leave you with a really profound question drawn right from our source material. Seriously, think about this. What would India look like if the Himalayas did not exist? Just imagine the climate without that massive wall blocking the freezing winds. Think about the rivers without the melting snow to feed them. Think about the culture without that immense natural protection. It really forces us to realize just how completely dependent a nation's entire identity is on the physical land right beneath its feet. Thank you so much for joining me on this spatial journey, and I'll leave you to ponder that exact question.